and then we'll get started.
All right. Good evening, and welcome to Oklahoma City Public Schools Fall Sports Media Day 2025, presented by Super Prep, SSM Health at St. Anthony, OCCPS, Just Burgers, and PPBC TV. We appreciate you joining us this evening. This is the day one of a two-night event. Football and cross country are on tap this afternoon. And today and tomorrow will feature softball and volleyball. I'm Maurice Prince, and tonight we will be spotlighting and talking about the sport of endurance, mental toughness, and teamwork. Ladies and gentlemen, we're talking cross country this evening. We're going to do that tonight. We're going to be talking with U.S. Grant, Douglas, Capitol Hill, John Marshall, Northwest Classen, Southeast, and Classen SAS in tonight's show. Joining me, opening up the show, hey, I want to say good evening to these gentlemen that's sitting at the table with me right now. I am honored to have with me right now head coach Stephen Cookson of U.S. Grant and Gustavo Salvador. Did I get the name right?
Yeah, you got it right.
All right, good evening. Good evening, guys. So how you guys doing? We're excited to have this. When you first heard, Coach, that we were doing a Fall Sports Media Day that's going to feature all the schools and all the fall sports, how excited were you?
I was really excited. I think it's good to get our students some exposure. These athletes working really hard. Our cross country, we started July 15th, and we've had kids running through the summer before that, so I think them being noticed is really important.
Gustavo, what classification are you? A senior this year?
No, I'm a junior.
You're a junior?
I'm a junior, sir.
Okay, a junior. So, how did you first get into cross country?
Coach, actually, it's like a requirement for us for soccer and stuff, like to earn a spot and stuff. That's how I joined cross country.
How would you, if someone else was to ask you, how did cross country help you with soccer?
It helped with endurance in the games and stuff, just keeping that work rate, that's all.
All right. Coach, you made a prerequisite. You said you started having them run during the summer, and it enhances. What things have you noticed over time that has allowed your team to be successful by starting it earlier, getting them in the mood for running before you get to soccer itself?
So soccer up at Grant, it's a year-round sport, and we use the cross country to get the players active during the summer instead of sitting around. So it's just helped in terms of, like we talk about, the endurance of the game, just being able to go. A lot of players, high school soccer, you're dealing with about an 80-minute game, and a lot of those guys play the whole game, and then come around the 60th minute, 65th minute in the past, people are really, really tired. Gustavo has the endurance to go the full 80 minutes in a high school soccer game, and even do some more if we go to an overtime game. So that's one of the major things I've seen, just helping them, kind of like when I grew up. We played a lot of different sports, and I don't think they have to totally be specialized as much. We've actually had some students come out, and they're actually really good cross-country athletes also. Okay. They're finding that they actually enjoy it, and they actually can compete at a high level in it.
I'm glad you brought that up, because that brings me to a common misconception about cross country. Most people view it as an individual sport. Yeah. It's actually a very, very uniquely competitive team sport. Yeah, Gustavo, when you start talking about team, there, of course, you have your key positions. You got your front runner or your ace. But oftentimes the fourth and the fifth runner is actually the most important part of the race. So in terms of a team, you might have a guy or a girl that might excel with your team, but it changes. Talk to me a little bit about how that team mentality comes into cross country.
I think the team mentality comes like the pep talk before we start running, a little prayer before too. Keep each other motivated, even if they're from afar. I like to yell at them to keep on going. That's what I like to do.
You yell?
Yeah, I yell at them to keep on going and stuff, like keep your pace and stuff. But yeah, I think a pep talk before the run, it helps a lot.
Mental grit when you start talking about when you get fatigued, Coach, you have to have a mentality. Cross country, you're not necessarily just competing against other athletes. You're competing as a team, but you're also learning to push yourself through those elements. And in soccer and translating to other sports, as cross country will do so well. Whether you're playing basketball, football, or any other other sports, cross country will help you. But give me some of the special things that you have found that cross country does benefit in terms of athletes.
You made me think of so many things when you said that, in terms of like just starting off talking about as a team sport. A lot of people, they go out to a cross country meet and they just think these guys are all running individual and they're trying to be top 15, top 20 to get a medal. Generally at the cross country meets, there's 7 runners as a varsity, and they take the top 5 scores. Okay, so that's when you're talking about the 4 and the 5 coming in hand. So you actually compete for a team trophy in that too, and it's like golf: the lowest score wins. So,
right.
So that 4th and 5th are very important. And I'm trying to think of what else, because I went off on that.
I threw a lot of things at you, but in terms of preparation and mental toughness, how does it help? How does it help hone that in?
Yeah, you made me also think of one other thing.
Sure.
Before I get. We've had a lot of different athletes come out. It's not just soccer players. I'm always hunting around looking for students to come on out. I've had some of the basketball players come out, and that definitely helps them with the endurance. I've had a boxer come out, a student that he's graduated now, and he actually boxes, and he would come out and run with us. So you just kind of grab up the group of kids you want to grab up, and it makes them better. It makes them better at the other things they do.
Now, this is a media day, so I don't want to turn this into a one-on-one on cross country. I want to talk about the grant program itself.
Understand.
How did you guys do last year? What are some of the goals? I mean, everybody always says win, but what are some goals, Gustavo, that you would like to accomplish this year in terms of tell me about the team. Tell me about the guys, and of course you're not on the girls team, but but the competitive juices run both ways. So talk to me a little bit about that.
My teammates, they have a good mentality. I like them all. I always try to tell them, just try your best, give it your all, and stuff. We have a good runner. His name is Aiden. He's really good at running. I know he has a big chance of making state this year. But team-wise, we're all good and stuff. I think we keep each other pushing and stuff.
The program itself, how do you feel the program is going, and what things did you accomplish last year that you would like to step up this year?
We're a little bit in a hang-on mode right now. I've had Cameron Pearson go on to MACU. I've had some of my soccer players become like all-state soccer players, go off to MACU and different colleges. We're kind of young this year, to really be honest. For instance, at Bridge Creek this last weekend, I had 3 of my 7-8 guys, first time they ever ran. So it was just an accomplishment, not like, they got through. They actually had a good time, they enjoyed it, and they've got one under their belt. So we're kind of in a rebuild. Aiden and Aiden Lozano, Angel Guerrero, my senior captains, they're the leaders. They're the guys who've been there for 4 years. I'm starting to incorporate new guys, and they're finding out they actually enjoy running the cross country.
That sounds simply outstanding. Gustavo, I want to come back to you when it comes to that. Give me an idea of one of your routines that you go through to get yourself ready to run. What is that? How does that line up, and what does that look like?
Like, what do you mean by that? Like,
what I'm saying is, do you have a routine that you do before you go to a race?
Oh, before I go to a race,
or even getting ready for practice that gets you ready to run.
Getting ready to run. Honestly, I like to eat a banana before races, or just have a good day.
Okay.
Yeah,
do you have to be in a good headspace, would you say, to run, or do you run with a clear mind, or do you run through some of the obstacles of your day?
I say I run through some of the obstacles through my day. It's just like that. You just gotta keep pushing through it.
That's no question. Mm-hmm. Coach, when you see runners hit that wall, what do you tell them, and how does Grant as a program, how do you address the runner's wall?
Like weekly, just talking about that real quick, weekly, a lot of our heavy running is early in the week, and then it just tails off because we're getting ready for the actual meet. In terms of hitting the wall, I think a lot of people think, oh, I got to go out there and run really hard 3 miles a day, 5 miles a day, and I'm going to be a great cross-country runner. And that's not really what goes on. Early in the week, you want to run hard. And as the week goes on, you want to put the mileage in. So you can do slow runs.
So in other words, it's not just based upon one tempo. There's different styles.
Exactly.
And again, this is not necessarily track.
Yeah, exactly. We do a lot of different things. Lots of stretching. Lots of. We'll go to the track some days and run 400s and 800 repeats. We try to keep it diverse too. Definitely keep it diverse. We've had to kind of create an urban track on campus, and I think I talked about this last time. They're actually doing construction on our site. They're building onto our school, so they've kind of taken away a little bit of it, but we just have to be more creative. We have a 1.25 mile course on our campus. We have a 2.5, and then we can make it even bigger and make it a 3.75. A lot of the runs are not hard, like I said. If you get that mentality, I'm going to go out there and run fast as I can, we'll sometimes have new guys come out, and they've only ran maybe 400 meters, 800 meters, and they're burnt out. So we really try to preach like a slow run, but keep running.
Okay. Yep. Now, notice everyone who's, of course, those who are watching on PPBC this evening. Okay. I just want to point this out to you. He just kind of gave you what the Grant track has to offer. In other words, the field, the facilities. So in other words, you're looking for a good place to run, and you're saying, this might be something you want to try. Yeah. As we get ready to wrap it up, Gustavo would like to come to you one more time. For the other teams that I'm going to be talking about, I know Capitol Hill, Douglas, some of the other ones you're going to be competing against. What will they get to expect when they take on U.S. Grant?
Toughness, but at the same time kindness, sportsmanship. That's what they take on from us.
Says it from the best. Representing his coach, of course, Stephen Cookson. This is Gustavo Salvador, and he's been joining us, and we will continue and roll on with more schools coming up next on Cross Country right now on PPBC TV, OKC Sports Fall Sports Media Day. Be right back.
All right. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Oklahoma City Public School Fall Sports Media Day Cross Country Edition on this side. One day. Day 2 tomorrow night, volleyball and softball take center stage, as tonight it is still football. And right now we're back to the sport of endurance, which is cross country. Of course, it's about to be orange and black talk time. For those who know very well, that's, of course, can only mean the pride of the East Side, the Douglas Trojans, are on the table. I have head coaches, the female head coach of the cross-country team, Leticia Woods, and, of course, the head coach for the Douglas men's cross-country team, Mr. William Scales, joining me, along with students-athletes, Skylar Jones and Justice Woods. Thank you so much for joining me this evening to talk about cross-country. So, first, I have to get the joy from Skylar. Let's get some ideas from you. What was the beginning and the path that allowed you to get into cross-country?
Really just trying to improve my abilities in track, really, and, just try to get the endurance, because this year I want to run the 400, just really trying to put my hard work into the 400 this year, really.
Okay, Justice, what about you? Same question.
For me, really, it's been trying to stay in shape and keep up with my endurance and how cross country can help me perform in my other sports and also running cross country.
Justice, how does cross country differ in terms of that from track to you? What's the biggest difference?
From track, I feel, of course, running on land, but also you got to have a different type of endurance when you're running cross country because you're running so many miles and it's not as quick as track would be.
Skylar, you're not taking on just other athletes, you're taking on the elements themselves. What's the deepest challenge you've had to face in terms of how and in the environment and the circumstances you had to compete under?
Really just trying to, stay focused on the prize and get it, really. Just trying to push through, because cross country, it's a different beast. I mean, from track, I came in first day and I was like, whew. Yeah, it's really different, and it's really all mental. It's a lot of mental aspect in cross country, and that's really about it.
Coach Scales, I'd like to bring it to you real quick. Talk to me about where the program ended last season, and then goals and basically what you're asking for your athletes to be about this year.
Excuse me. Well, last year we had a couple of boys that made it to the qualifying round their senior year, Jay, Will, and Landry, for me last year, and they did pretty good leading the team into this season. So I got a lot of young runners coming in, and they're hungry for it, which is preparing them also for their next sport as well. But they're attacking it well, and they're getting their endurance up and getting ready to go.
Coach Woods, Leticia Woods, talk to me also about the same thing. Where did the program end goals for this year? Because one thing I always know when I get to talk to you, there are some goals.
Yes. The goal is always to win. And in cross country, the biggest goal is to beat yourself, So you can't, in running in general, if you can't beat yourself, you can't beat the person in front of you. Last year we finished, I want to say, all 7 varsity runners made it to state. We had one short of being a state champion in the top 14, made 15 instead of 14th, which is Justice Woods. And but overall, we finished 3rd. So the goal is to make it back, and then be better than yourself. So we do have different athletes coming in, but beat yourself to beat someone else.
Now, in that particular mindset and mentality, there's always a goal and an expectation. You just talked about that. Talk to me about the way the roster is looking this year, the schedule, how competitive it's going to be early on, as the season progresses.
Yes, well, we kind of was thrown in a different loophole this year because we were told we would be moving up a class this year, which we did not. So the schedule is going to be tougher for us, but in the end, when we finish at regionals and state, and even in our ACAC, we should be prepared because for the girls' side, when you're running 4A, you're not running 3.2 miles, so you're running 2 miles. So it's a big difference from 3.2 than 2. So I think the competition of the cross-country meets is going to be well set. As always, no matter where you go, you're running for time. So that's the only difference between other sports and track is you're running for time.
Coach Scales, I want to come back to you. Talk to me about the roster this year. And, of course, some of the goals always, I think, is a relative question because winning is what you attempt to do or everybody strives to do. Mm-hmm. Talk to me about how the formation of this team and what your team is looking like right now.
Well, this year, like I say, I'd say we're young, but I got a lot of juniors and a few seniors, but most of them are like sophomores and freshmen coming in, so they're new to the game. But like Coach would say, it's a game of beating yourself. Because if you can beat yourself, then you can get out there and you can beat anybody. So right now we're hungry at practice, and hopefully that will translate over to our meets coming up here in a couple of months.
Going to go back to Skylar and Justice real quick. Can you tell me what runner position are you? Are we talking about front runners here? Or are we talking second, third, fourth, fifth? Because to me that's the money slot in cross country. What runner are you on your team?
I would say I'm a front runner.
Okay, all right. So you ace. Okay, I'm not mad at that. And for you, Skylar?
I think I'm also a front runner. Yes.
Oh, okay. So in doing that, because since it's a team concept, is that something that you strive to hold on as a captain for the entire season, or is that something that you want to be in position for your team every week to be the ace or the front runner? Mm-hmm. Either one of you.
Mostly for me, it's more of competing and bettering myself and going up against myself rather than focusing on everybody else.
Okay,
because
that's fair.
I'll know I'll be in the front, but it's not enough to just beat my teammates. I got to be able to go against myself as well.
Sure. Skylar, do you have a response you'd like to get that?
I also just like to piggyback off her, really just, focus on myself and, make sure we're okay as a team,
Well, true. Because if you're not doing your part, no one else is. Everybody else has. If everybody focuses on what their job is, the team is successful. So I understand that. In terms of running against another opponent, can either of you talk to me about an experience you had when you had to break the other pack up, or had to compete, or had to make some strides to get back in a race? Can either of you talk about an experience of a race that you've had under your belt that you went through that competition
in? I would like to talk about track, and being across from somebody in the track just gets my mind going. Just I gotta get it, because it's not ever gonna be hand to. It's always hard work that gets the medal. So really, I'm just determined to just pass that finish line first. Really.
Okay.
For me, when it comes to cross country, really the biggest goal is your start, getting ahead of the pack so you don't get closed in. So I really like to think about getting ahead so I don't have to fight my way to the front and stay up there.
Coach Scales, in terms of strategy, each one of these athletes, because I can tell that there's a cooperative coaching going on. In other words, what the girls' team, cross-country team, and what the boys' cross-country team are both being taught similar concepts. It's quite clear. Talk to me about the strategy that you have in terms of how you want them to pace themselves. Everybody is focused here. You can tell these great athletes right now are focused on their individual performance that helps the team. Is that what you prefer, or is that something that you strategize in terms of winning, because it's still about getting the lowest score and getting that in line?
Well, if we can get out in front of the pack and run with the front pack, we're going to get out and run with the front pack. Now, if we can get the whole group to get out there and be that front pack, we're going to get out there and we're going to be that front pack. So you're going to have to come get us.
I don't know how you follow that with Coach Woods, but I'm going to give you a chance to.
I know for the girls is we're trying to, like I said, beat ourselves, okay, but different athletes run different. So and my strategy is always don't save it to the end. Let's push until we can't go. That way our body can get used to going more the next time we run it. So if we have 4 or 5 meets and I'm breaking down at the 1.5 mile mark or the mile mark, well, the next meet, let's push all the way. Your body will get accustomed to pushing past a certain point. So you don't want to be behind because it only gets slower. And you don't want to be the rabbit to where you're getting passed in the end either. So it's a fine line between them all, but at the end of the day is just building the endurance and their capabilities. It's their mindset as well. Mind, heart, and mind over matter.
Understood that.
Yes.
I'll come back to both coaches and then come back to the athletes before we wrap it up today. I want to keep going, Coach Woods, when I ask you this one. The culture and the identity that is Douglas High School is one of the most unique experiences. Folks always want to attribute only certain successes to the success of Douglas, but I've wanted to give you a chance to talk about the culture and the community that Douglas has that is really unique amongst other schools.
Well, our principal is doing a wonderful job of just changing the culture, and this year just alone, like, I believe we've gotten over 300 new students who want to be a part of not just athletics but the school itself, and setting the goal to just accomplish great things educationally. It's so much invested into Douglas that has nothing to do with sports, that a lot of people in the area that live in the area that may take their kids away from the school, in the culture, that other schools aren't able to give, like the concurrent classes, the trade schools. Like, a lot of the kids that have an associate's degree coming out, a lot of the kids can have a trade and a job already ready to go. So either you're starting college or you completing a trade. You're ready for the workforce when you can come out of Douglas. So not just the success in sports, but I mean the guts of Douglas is great.
Coach Scales, the community that has been established. When I mention the community, it's not just of course a culture of winning is there, but it's also a building of a community. In other words, building families, legacies, connecting, and using cross country as your platform to do that. How is that impacting Douglas right now? Because again, everybody wants to always staple it to football and basketball, right, which are true, are great sports. But how does cross country also help that as well?
Well, we have come to the forefront. When I started helping 2 years ago doing cross country, we had Darren Jefferson, who was a great runner for us, and I think he finished and qualified for state as well 2 years ago for us. So seeing a kid like that put in the hard work and the dedication, and him going to the next level for college or the state championship in cross country, it'd be like, well, you know what, I can do that too. So let me get out here and try. Yeah, let's get out here and try, and I'm going to help you. We're going to work toward that goal. So I think us backing our students and our students believing in us, helping them to go forward and push forward, and we pushing forward together as one, we become that individual.
Obviously, let's end this Fall Sports Media Day with Douglas over here in cross country with Skylar and Justice. Last questions for you guys. When you face some of the other schools this year, what do you want their biggest takeaway to be when they take on the Douglas Trojans, whether it's the boys cross country team or the girls cross country team? What do you want them to remember?
It's going to take all of the people on the track to beat us. It's not going to just be one, if he's in the back, we're going to win. No, it's going to take all of us. It's going to take all of your team to, try and get at us. So that's really
have that kind of heart.
Yeah.
Understand that. Okay, now of course, now here you go, Justice. You gotta follow that.
For us, I feel like it's don't underestimate us. We're going to stick together as a team, and we're not going to just back down from the challenge. If we step up, we're going to step up to either win or beat the person in front of us.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Out before you count us in.
Hey, ladies and gentlemen, we're about to go ahead and wrap this one up, but I want to tell you right now what an exciting journey of cross country is going on the east side of Oklahoma City at Douglas High School. I'm Maurice Prince. We will continue and roll on with OKC Sports, of course, Sports Media Day here, talking cross country, and we'll be back on the other side. Thank you. Schools Fall Sports Media Day. Maurice Prince here, and we're going to Capitol Hill now. The Red Wolves. We're going to talk cross country with them right now. I got student athletes right now. I want to make sure I introduce them. I have Angel Ramirez right here, and then I have Fatima Solis. Want to make sure I got that. And of course, head women's cross country coach Julie Esparza, and of course the boys cross country head coach Israel Villanueva. Thank you guys for coming here. So I'm just going to jump in. So Fatima, I'm just going to jump in and ask you, what was your thoughts when they said we're going to do a Fall Sports Media Day and we want you to do the talking?
I was pretty nervous. It's like kind of hard talking in front of cameras, but it's a really cool experience to have with as a coach and as a teammate and a player.
Angel, they told me that they had no question that you had to do the talking for the boys team. Why would that be?
Well, I'm the most talkative, and I would say honestly, I just talk a lot, to be honest, and I would feel like I would have more to say about the team.
I felt this vibe when we first got on the table. I said, I'm going to have fun talking with him. So, Angel, I'm going to ask you a question. When it comes to running cross country, do you prefer a flat course, a hilly course, or what kind of, what kind of course do you really like?
Honestly, for me, I like the more hilly courses, because the flat courses I've always done the worst on, to be honest. I know it might sound crazy to me, but the more hilly courses are more easier to me, and they make me feel I don't know, I just let myself go on the hills, and it makes me gives me more free speed, and it just lets me go for freely.
Fatima, do you agree with that, or do you have something else to say?
I like the flat ones more because I feel the hills, when you go up, it tires you, but then when you go down, it's more easy. But for me, I think the flat ones are easier.
I'm going to go to you first, Coach Julie Esparza, joining us here. Coach, what is your message to your athletes about balancing mental and physical toughness?
We have that conversation a lot, actually. We tell you can be as much of an athlete as you want physically, but if you're not there mentally, you're kind of screwed. A lot of our athletes, we have them for cross country and for soccer, so it's a constant reminder of hey, you're going to go up against tough schools, and if you're not there mentally, and if you're not trying the best for yourself, then it's going to be a tough season, so you decide what season you're going to have.
Coach Villanueva, how do you get an athlete to lock in and become tougher? Because this cross country isn't just, it's an individual competition and it's a team competition. How do you develop and sharpen that tool to be able to push through?
So a little bit piggyback on what Coach Esparza said. A lot of our runners, we do pull from our soccer program, to get better, to keep their endurance. One of the things I tell our teammates all the time is we run as one, we run as a team, but we all finish as a family. So I try to get that over and over. I say it time and time to the guys, to the girls, as a team. Guys, we're here to compete as well, but we're here to have fun. We're going to finish as a family. These last couple of years, I was able to pull in some new guys that have never run cross country, so that's a real big hit for us. Because a lot of kids don't like just running in circles, and I tell them, hey guys, you'll enjoy the scenery, you'll get to enjoy the, outdoors, and you're just not running in the track over and over and over. So I try to get a lot of motivation into these guys, and, afterwards, we try to do stuff at the end of the season, so they can have a little bit of fun and a little bit of, things that, hey, cross country is not just about running, it's about, being together and making connections with one another and, team bonding and, creating a family with each other.
When you have to, when you reach out to recruit and add to the cross country family,
right?
What are some of the comments you've gotten over the years from the athletes, and what are some of the things that you've seen that they have been able to do after participating in the sport?
One of the things that I've seen really big is that they like the atmosphere we come together, the team bonding we do with each other. We cheer each other on. It's just not, we finish racing, we go sit down and we're done. No. The girls finish racing, they'll get some water, they're there to cheer the boys on. The same thing for the boys to the girls. So a lot of the people that have not ran cross country, they really enjoy it now. They like the aspect of, being there for one another. And we say at Capitol Hill, we're unidos. That means, we're united. And so we try to stay together.
Coach Esparza, talk to me about the community and the culture that this is continuing to develop and evolve. because cross country, of course, is such a sport that is so crafty, it's so unique that you can use it in so many other skills. But the culture and the community that you're building over at Capitol Hill, talk a little bit about that through cross country, if you would.
I think one of the biggest things has been, especially because I have some returners, is the discipline that they're learning and how they're applying it elsewhere. Like, I mean, we started off and it was like, I don't want to run. Like, this is running, you know, like I hate running. There's no point. Like, this isn't soccer. And we have to remind them, like for the soccer players specifically, it's just like you run out there in soccer, right? So when they started doing running, like at the beginning, it was very much a struggle to get them to show up, especially Saturday meets. And we've gone from this, like when I started coaching 3-4 seasons ago, to like yesterday it was raining and I was like, we'll do an indoor workout. And the girls came to me and they're like, we want to run. So we did some tempo running outside and we were soaked by the end of it. But they were tired, but they were happy. You know what I mean? Like they found out that they can challenge themselves and they're capable of so much more, not just physically, right? But like I have some great athletes that are some great students. And we always tell them student athletes first. And you've seen it come across from like personal lives to academics to sports and everywhere else. And it's really been amazing to see.
Fatima, I take it you must have had your hair tied up so it wouldn't get but the mental toughness that the coach talked about. Give me a situation that in which you ran in a cross country event in which you hit that mental that possible wall in the past and then you broke through. Can you give me a little bit of history of when that happened and how did you respond and how you've done with that?
I think for a lot of races, it's like really hard to keep going and like keep getting like get better and like showing up. But I think the experiences of going to the meets, being together as a team, making new friends, getting closer as a community, it like helps you overcome that like mental struggles that you have during a meet.
I understand. Angel, so what runner position would you classify yourself as? Are you the front runner, the ace? Are you the 2-3? Or are you the 4-5 in terms of your running?
For me, I would honestly say like the front runner.
The front runner.
Because I would always like to get a good spot, and then I would like to really keep my pace and break through those walls. It's because running is it's a really like mental game, So you really got to break through all that. But I would say.
So you like to set the tone?
Yes, sir.
A paced car in a racetrack.
Yeah, I like to set a tone first.
Okay. So can you guys give me a situation where you guys were in the middle of a meet or middle of a challenge and you and your team, you needed to motivate the other team to try to come together and get together? How can you give me an experience of when that happened in the last year or something that you had to overcome to achieve a goal?
Mm-hmm. So we had a meet and like the top team got a trophy and we didn't get the trophy, but we all came together to get the best place that we can, and we all really worked hard and pushed ourselves as a team, and we really got up there.
All right. Fatima, do you have one of those as well?
Can you repeat the question, please?
Sure.
Yes.
Give me a situation in which you were running in a previous meet and which you faced a challenge and you just had to overcome it, and how was the team able to respond to that challenge?
I think every meet is honestly like that, because with a lot of teams that are like really competitive and they like practice more and just are on a higher level than us, and seeing them and seeing all their accomplishments and seeing how they do in races every day or with their practices, it's something that we have to overcome every day and try to get better, and so we can like get to their level and compete at the same level as them.
Coach Villanueva, what strategies do you like to employ when it comes to getting the teams ready to compete?
It just depends where the meet's at, type of weather conditions we're dealing with. Most of the times, if it's really windy, I tell the guys, hey, when you're going up against the wind, try to get somebody behind somebody that can break the wind barrier for you, kind of help you out, not get as tired as you would running with the wind. I try to tell them, when you're going downhill, let loose a little bit, not too much where you're eventually going to fall, but enough to where you can keep the momentum going. We built a program that we've came from about 5-10 kids, so we're about 25 now on the boys side. So the program's getting pretty big, and so I tell the guys, hey, let's use this together. The momentum we got going on, and the things we're facing with each other, and just run through it. Whether it's mud, wind, raining, we all finish together.
They say, Coach Esparza, that unless it's really severe, the run will go on.
Yeah.
We will run. So with that being said, is there anything in particular that you've had to deal with in your coaching at Capitol Hill that you had to overcome some elements, or how do you teach the runners to attack certain conditions?
Yeah, so I don't know if you guys know, but Capitol Hill is obviously getting kind of torn down, so we're in the process of getting a new building. We lost an entire building, so we don't have a field house anymore. And that makes it hard, especially with we had 2 canceled practices the week before, and that's leading up to our first meet, of the season. So it's been barriers like that of maybe like resources, or we can't practice outside, or we don't have different facilities, but we make it work. I had them working out, just like hip, ankle, knee movement, single leg exercises in the hallway. You're going to do it where you can, right? Make it work.
Fatima, what are you most excited about competing in this fall with this cross-country team that you have?
It's going to be my last season with them, so I want to have like a good last season and get better from my previous years and get better as with my teammates, get closer and make them realize that cross country can be a fun sport if you make it fun.
Angel?
Absolutely, yeah. I'm really excited about it. I still have a lot of more time, but we are like the boys cross country team is a really young group. We have a lot of upcoming freshmen and sophomores. Like me, I'm a sophomore, and I'm really excited to spend my time with them. Even though ups and downs and all that, no matter the meet, I'm always there. I'm always excited to the bond with them.
Sure. Who was the person that helped you out last year?
Honestly, I would say, first my coach, and then
good answer.
He would always push me no matter what. He was always there yelling, But honestly, my teammate, his name was Carlos Lara. He was the top runner in our team. He was also the captain for the soccer team, and he was just always motivating. He was always pushing people no matter what, under people under him, he was always pushing them to their best.
Either one of you can answer this question as we get ready to wrap up. Why cross country? Why should someone who's competing in another sport participate in cross country?
Honestly, it's a great way to build endurance and a good way to a good way to help you with your mental stuff. It's a good way to get how do I explain it?
You're doing it.
I forgot the word.
No, you're doing it. It's a way to get mentally stronger, prepared.
Yeah, absolutely prepared.
Get you prepared to compete. So I got you all the way. I knew where you were going. I knew where to park the car at on that one. Fatima, how about you?
I feel like cross country is a sport that can help you with other sports as well. So it connects that sport with another sport. And just running cross country alone can help you both physically and mentally, because it feels like you're doing something every day. You accomplish something new every day. Maybe you got a faster mile time, or you ran 3 miles when you never have. So it's something that you accomplish every day.
Now I'm not going to ask you to trash talk. I'm not going to ask you, but I have to ask one last question. When any team takes on the Red Wolves cross country team, whether it be the boys or the girls team, what can they expect?
Honestly, competition. Honestly, we are really competitive, and we're not gonna stop. No matter what, no matter if you trash talk or if you try to get on our heads, we're always gonna keep going forward.
Is
Nothing's
there
gonna
really
stop
trash
us.
talking in cross country? Does somebody
Absolutely.
talk and try to run past you?
Absolutely. But no matter what, nothing's gonna stop us. We're always gonna keep going forward.
Fatima, you have anything you would like to say?
I think I just agree with Angel. We never give up, regardless of who talks about us, what team is better than us or anything. We just never give up and we try to get better.
Hey, we appreciate you guys stopping by. This has been, as we continue to roll cross country media days right here for Oklahoma City Public Schools. I'm Maurice Prince. These are the Capitol Hill Red Wolves head coach, of course, Israel Villanueva, Angel Ramirez, of course, head coach and athlete, and then Julie Esparza, and of course, Fatima Solis. Thank you guys for coming in today, and I wish you luck this season.
Thank you for having us on.
We will roll on with OKC Sports Media Day in just a moment. Back. Hey, Fall Sports Media Day for Oklahoma City Public Schools. Day number 1 continues. We're at the cross-country table right here this evening. I am Maurice Prince. We're going to continue the conversation, and right now, the Bears are in the building. John Marshall Bears are here. I have on this end, I have Coach Cal Jones and student-athlete Miko Robertson, along with head coach for the girls team, Edith Vickers, and student lady athlete, Marcia Tillman Brown. So good evening. Thank you everybody for joining in and being a part of the show this evening. I'm excited to talk. So I'm just going to jump right in. Marcia, Where did the love? What's your classification first of all, and where did your love for cross country begin?
Well, I always loved running when I was younger, and I didn't start doing sports until high school, so last year. And then when I tried it last year, I just liked it, so I'm deciding to do it again.
Miko, what about you? Where did this love? Because was this a sport that you were born to do, or is this something that you learned to love?
Well, I started doing this because of mainly track season. I learned like running is actually like my way of like kind of like living, because I mainly started doing running for boxing, but as I started doing it, I started falling in love with the sport more of running, because it's all mental and it helps you like it helps you beat yourself mentally.
All right. Coach Cal Jones, stepping right in, when it starts talking about strategy and you hear someone talk about that passion that started one way and then it grew into a love of something else, into this love of cross country, that's got to be exciting for you, because you have athletes that have an understanding of the success that cross country can build them in other sports.
It can build character, and the one thing is that not a lot of kids in today's society love to just go run. But at the end of the day, cross country is one of the fastest growing sports across the country. And I tell the kids, it doesn't matter. There are 2 rules on this cross country team. Don't walk, don't finish last. And at the end of the day, if you can get the kids, they're not racing other people, they're racing themselves. It's like Jedi training. And so they've got to understand that you've got to get into a mental space that a lot of people don't have the ability to get to. And it's kind of like the cream rises to the top. And it doesn't matter what that time says when the race is over. Sometimes just the sense of accomplishment that these kids feel when they cross that finish line is nothing short of remarkable.
Coach Vickers, when it comes to assembling a cross country, the girls team, and seeing the energy and getting them to have a good mental focus, what are some things that you do to bring them together to get them moved in that direction?
I like to think of it, especially from a, woman's and point of view mental health. I like to bring in, the health aspect of it. And also, it's a lifelong sport. It's something that will keep you going for a long time, even after high school, even after whatever it is that you decide. I mean, to go into the military, you have to run. You have to pass a test. You have to pass a physical test. So, I mean, it's just, I like to, point out the different aspects of that.
Marcia, when it came to being able to put those things on display, how has cross country made you mentally tougher?
I don't know. I just, like they said, like when I'm running, I'm not like really like trying to like beat the other people, but I'm trying to like prove to myself that I can get stronger and better. So mentally, it just like made me stronger, because like it just makes me like want to like work harder and more to like improve in myself.
Miko, when you get ready for that, for the cross country, for the event to begin, give me some things that you have done during the day that would get you ready, because you said that it's really a release for you. So what are some things that you're doing to get yourself ready?
Well, for me mentally, mainly listening to music, stretching, getting myself into that mode, getting ready for the day, and not letting other people's moods get onto me, and mainly getting into my own zone and preparing myself mentally, because I know as you get closer to it, it's going to be more mental. And even if you see people pass you, it's mainly about just keeping your mentals right, and you can be all of them. So it's mainly just listening to music, stretching, getting myself in my own zone.
In doing so, let me come right back to you. Do you consider yourself a front runner or an ace in terms of in your positioning, or a 2-3 or a 4-5 runner, or where do you kind of see your role on the team that you have right now?
Really, anything that I need to do just to win.
Anything. All right. I'm going to swing that right back over to you, Marcia. Where do you kind of see? Do you see yourself needing to be a front runner? Are you a 2-3, or do you see yourself as that 4-5 in terms of the running?
Well, I'm still like working on like my endurance and my stamina, so I would say probably like a 2 or 3. Wait, 2 or 3 is good, is bad or bad?
No, it's not. It's not bad. 2-3 is good.
Okay, yeah, 2 or 3. And also, there's like newcomers. Also, there's like newcomers, And since I've already experienced like last cross country season, I feel like I do need to step up my game more to become more like a role model and an example to the upcoming freshmen that's running with us.
And that's great that you brought that up because it's understanding the roles of that. So, Coach Vickers, I'm going to come right back to you. You know, of course, the pace, the front runner is the one who kind of goes out there.
Yeah.
You're the lead. You're the one that gets out there. The 2-3 kind of shadow, trying to keep I guess, put themselves in position to help the lead if it falls. The 4-5 is your points. So when it comes to teaching the runners how to compete as a team, am I breaking it down right, or how do you see it?
Well, no, I mean, there's really not a. To me, I always tell them, like, just don't be last. You know, hang in there. You know, when you feel like you're about to give up, just keep going. Whatever it is, you know, that will, you know, get you going. But, you know, try to pass. You know, try to build, you know, yourself up. Get that rest, that quick breath, and then kick it in and start catching up. You know, different bodies. Come on, more bodies, and you know, just picking it up the pace.
I got you.
Yep.
Coach Jones, you know I have to ask you. I mean, on that same, in terms of a strategy, or is it just, is it just what you said in your opening statement, where you're saying be the best you can be, competing individually, or how do you see that?
I want the kids to do better next time than they did the last time.
Okay.
It's not about, you know, you might see a whole bunch of fancy uniforms and a whole bunch of kids that are 6'3" that have strides like, you know, Clydesdales. That isn't what this is about. When you run cross country, this is about what do you have the ability to do today. And, you know, we've got some kids that have medaled in middle school, and we're hoping to bring some medals home this season. But even if we don't, the sense of accomplishment that these kids get when they cross the finish line, regardless of whether, I mean, let's look. I mean, and you may know this kid, Derek Shaw ran cross country last year, played basketball. I've got some basketball players that came today and said, Coach, I think we want to run cross country. And I said, who was the player on the team that was in the best shape for basketball last year? And they said, well, it was Derek for sure. And so these kids understand that this can propel them, even in a fall sport, for everything that they're going to do throughout. Because in John Marshall, we got to share athletes, right? You might have a kid that plays softball, that also plays volleyball, that also runs track, that's also on the golf team, that also, you know, and so the more things that we can get our kids involved in, the better, because it gives them a huge sense of accomplishment. It's a you against the clock. It's not you against anybody else on that course.
Coming right back to you, Miko, what's the most challenging weather that you've had to run in?
Run, it's like I'm not focused on anything around me, but sometimes I do focus on the people around me, so it makes me want to run a little bit faster and speed up a little bit. But really, I don't really focus on anything else but get into where I need to go.
So I'm gonna ask you one. We're gonna do the speed round. How do you perform in mud?
Mud. I feel like mud is difficult for a lot of people, but I get through it.
Oh yeah. We're gonna make him run home. We're gonna see. It rained all day. I'm gonna come to you, Marcia. Weather challenge. Which weather has been the biggest challenge for you that you've had to face thus far?
The weather wasn't really like bad, but I had to run in mud before.
Okay.
Up a hill, actually.
Okay.
And then down the hill. That was terrible. I don't recommend that. But
what kind of track do you prefer? A kind of a hilly, a flat surface?
Flat.
You prefer
for sure
flat surface?
Yes.
Miko, do you want a flat surface, or do you want a hilly, kind of a tough terrain, kind of, you know, one that makes you have to be mindful of where you're stepping?
I mean, I would have preferred a flat one, but it really doesn't matter as long as I get it done.
Okay, coaches, I'll let either one of you answer this question. When it comes to being mentally tough, meaning whether it's hot, because cross country, unless it's severe, we're running. So what are some things that you've had to tell some athletes over time?
Hydrate. I mean, you'd be amazed. I mean, we'll get on the course and we'll make sure that we got water for the kids as they run by. I mean, kind of like you see those people in the marathon where they're handing out cups. We'll make sure that we got little water bottles for the kids while they're on the course, and they'll down. They need to make sure that they stay hydrated at all times. That's the biggest thing. Is that we want to make sure that they stay hydrated. They don't pass out on the course. 3 miles is not an easy task.
No.
Especially uphill, downhill, in the mud, even on a flat surface.
And keep moving because that cold weather sometimes can get us those early cold mornings.
Yeah, because we run at like 9 o'clock, 8 o'clock in the morning.
It's like
we're not running at 2 o'clock in the
stretched.
afternoon when it's 102 degrees outside.
Yeah.
So, which is good, right? But keep the kids hydrated. Make sure they stay
and nice and stretched,
mentally
and warm.
focused, stretched, and just ready to go compete against the clock and try to save as much time off that clock as they can from this time to the next.
You mentioned stretching and doing that. Is that something that you see, the cramping and things like that for the athletes because they're not hydrated, going off what Coach Jones said?
No, I mean, hydration has always been, one of our key things. That doesn't matter if it's, cold or hot. Your body has to stay hydrated. But, stretching and keeping your, body moving and just, staying warm for those races, it's important. I mean, it's important for your muscles. It's important for everybody.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, at any age. At any age.
Speed walking.
Even our age.
Speed walking in the mall, same thing.
Exactly.
Coach Jones, you mentioned earlier about the sharing of the athletes. Give me kind of your thoughts on the community and the culture that cross country is. You said it's a growing sport. You said it's a building sport. Talk to me about the culture and the community that's established at John Marshall.
Well, we've got a bear bash, and I think it's on the Friday before OU Texas. I don't have my count. Yeah, always the Friday before, and that is the C.J. Davis Memorial Run that we do. And we actually, it's not an OSSAA sanctioned run, but our kids will go out and we'll bring the community in, and basically it is a 5K. And we run around the NOKC. It's a sponsored event. I think Tinker sponsors that for us, and so we try to bring the community in to John Marshall. I mean, we've had Justin Broyles has come back and run. You've probably heard that name once or twice.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, just a little bit.
Just a little bit.
I mean, yeah, and so we brought the community in, and it is a great event for our community, and it's a chance to showcase our kids in kind of a really stress-free environment. Get out there and let's show the community, and let's all get out there for a great cause.
Yeah.
And Edith has been part of this Bear Bash.
The official name is a 5K, Bear Bustle, John Marshall Bear Bustle, and we've been doing it now probably about 8. Has it been 8 years? 8 or 9 years after we lost CJ, and Justin Broyles, of course, being one of his classmates, and Keyshawn Shells being another one of his classmates. They both are. Keyshawn is really stepping up this year, and he's going to try to go take over it, and leave us, older folk to start to their retirement.
So anybody who wants to come and support that, and be a part of that, and run with these kids, or even walk it. The bottom line is that we try to embrace the community.
Yeah, the
aspect
teachers
of what we're
come
doing.
out and walk it. Retired, teachers have come back out and walked it. His parents are out there. His family's out there. His grandmother has come out there and supported us. But like I said, it's just a great community outreach, a great support from our community members.
Marcia, final question. What excites you about this current season that you're about to participate in, and what is something you would like to accomplish this year?
I think the thing that excite me is probably the newcomers again, and really to see what they're able to do this season. And what's the other question?
What's a goal you would like to accomplish this year?
My time. I feel like my time can be more improving. So, yeah.
Every race.
Yeah.
Coming right back to you, Mr. Miko. What excites you about this upcoming season and a goal you'd like to accomplish?
What excites me is really just seeing new people and just a thrill of the run and seeing people get better every day. And my goal is just mainly get my cardio and stamina up.
Final thing. If when you're taking on any other school, since this is John Marshall Cross Country Media Day, what is something you would like them to know You know, because I've heard some folks say they trash talk and run away. What are some things that you would like to let other teams know that when they see the Bears line up for cross country that they can look forward to experiencing?
It's going to be a difficult run.
I think he's gonna say something else.
It's gonna be a difficult run. No, you said the right one.
It's not going to be easy. Nope.
Marcia, do you have anything you'd like to add to that?
And it's definitely going to be a mental challenge, and they're going to have to work for it.
Okay, going to have to work for it.
Yeah. Don't sleep on this, guys.
Okay, hey, there it is.
There you go.
Don't sleep on the Bears. This wraps up the cross country at John Marshall High School. Hey, come out, support the team. The Bear Bash is right the same weekend going into Red River.
Yes, it is.
Going to Red River. Be a part of that. Join the fun and come support and watch the Bears go. We'll be right back on the other side as Oklahoma City Public School Fall Sports Media Day will continue to roll on. I'm Maurice Prince. We'll be right back. Sports Media Day, sponsored, of course, by Super Prep, SSM Health, OKCPS, Just Burgers, and PPBC TV. Remember, tonight, first night, of course, is football and cross country. Night number 2 will feature softball and volleyball. But we're rolling on, and we're going to keep running on the most difficult sport that helps build endurance, and that is cross country. And now we're going to talk about it with the Northwest Classen Knights. I am joined by student athletes Elena Jarmillo and Sammy Darman, who are here with me today, as well as head coach Arthur Eelson. So guys, let's start talking right away. Let's jump right on in. Sammy, where did the love for cross country begin?
So for me, I actually started running cross country in 6th grade, but it wasn't something that I really took serious until sophomore year. So it really just came from a community of runners, just great people that I like being around, and just through that, just growing a community.
Elena, what would you say? Where did it start for you?
Well, it was like freshman orientation, and the girls' head coach, Coach Yoli, she was like, "Oh, if you're gonna play soccer, then you should do cross country." I was like, oh, "Okay." She was like, "It's kind of easy, kind of, you know." I was like, "Oh, okay. I guess I'll join that," and I did not know what I was signing up for, but I somehow managed to stay.
Oh, okay. So you're still here.
Yeah.
So has the love for the sport now, do you visualize yourself competing in this often now?
I mean, yeah, I really do like our team the most, though. Like, I really stay because of Coach Eastland, I guess, and Coach Jolie.
Okay, so is it the friendships that you're building that's doing it, the team, or the competitive in that way?
Wait, can you re-ask that?
Sure, there's no problem. Is it playing with is it the team, or is it the community that it's building with you?
Both.
Both? Yeah. That's a great answer. Sammy, what about you? I mean, you said 6th grade kind of was the beginning of this. What excites you about the team that you've had, that you've done from last year, and what do you look to accomplish this year?
I mean, just bringing in more people to run and to grow in running. I mean, I'm really just hoping to just keep bringing up more runners who are going to enjoy running, and even through the hard parts of it, because there's a lot of that in distance running, just bringing more people that are going to be able to enjoy that.
How much has the sport changed, or has it grown since you originally started off? Go right ahead.
Okay, so my freshman year, I'm pretty sure there was in total 10 of us. It was not a big team at all, and there was not a lot of experienced runners. So we were kind of all over the place my freshman year, at least. And then it's grown so big, I think over the years. Right now we have a good team this year, I think. We have very committed runners this year. So I'm really it grew in that way.
It's grown in that way positively.
Yeah.
Coach, I'm going to talk to Coach Arthur Eelson now. Eastland, sorry. Coach, the sport has definitely changed and grown. Is it because is it that younger athletes are starting to see that because they are the best recruits and it's helping other sports? Do they see the value in it, or what do you say it's making it change?
I think more since I've been doing it, which is well over a decade. I think we see more people that are just runners. It used to be cross country. People ran cross country to prepare for soccer, prepare for basketball. Now I see a lot more that are like Sammy. He's just a runner. That's what he does. He runs year round, and we see more of that. And with that, it's gotten more competitive. The times are coming down. They're coming down, and you also see a lot more dedicated runners that way, because when you're out there training and it's 90+ degrees, and you're not dedicated. It's real easy to just say, hey, forget that. I'll wait till basketball season when I'm inside, and it's air conditioned, So that's where I've seen the biggest change. Is we're seeing a lot more just this is what they do, and this is what they do year round. They're not just somebody out there running to be conditioned for basketball or conditioned for baseball. They are runners, and this is what they do with their time year round.
How has the community, the running community, at Northwest Classen changed, because you said it was more runners now being invoked in the program. But can you give me an idea of how many athletes you might have had a few years ago and how many athletes or runners you're dealing with now?
Well, when I started, of course, I mean, some of this we were right on the end of the lockdowns, but I would have a hard time scraping up, a team at a race. A full team is 7 runners, and I would have a hard time. As far as numbers, maybe not a whole lot more. Maybe we have about 12, but all of them are runners now, and they're committed, and they're there, and they push each other to get faster and better and faster and better, and that makes my job real easy because I don't have to push them.
Elena, when he says there's more runners now, there's a lot more excitement. So is that helping you get better because you have so much more involvement of runners that want to involve themselves in this?
That's a good question. I don't know how to answer that because, like,
fair enough.
On the girls' side, like these girls that came in like this year, they're so good, and I can tell they're already gonna be like so dedicated to what they do, and it is. I think today they give like today's practice that gave me motivation to like finish, I guess, how I wanted to finish. So I think that.
Okay, no, that's a great answer.
We are seeing a lot more, like on both the boys and the girls' side. We've seen freshmen come in this year, which this is the first time since I've been there that we've had freshmen come in from Taft, one of our feeders, that are not totally ready for high school cross country, but they're pretty close, and they're pushing my experienced runners. I mean, so that's a change, at least at Northwest Classen, where we're seeing them, where they're coming in, and that's what they want to do. They want to run, and that's a big change. Those freshman girls, and they got after it Saturday. They just took off, and I was like, but before, the freshmen are always kind of timid, and they're more experienced, because they've run cross country, and a lot of them in middle school, and I think that helps.
Sammy, how has that made practice more fun for you? Because you got a big grin on your face as we're talking about it too. When practice is competitive, that means if they always say if practice is competitive, then the meets doesn't seem as big of a task. Is that still a correct statement based upon this new energy these fantastic freshmen have brought in?
Yeah. So the way I look at it is like iron sharpens iron. So just with like the huge surge of new runners coming, good runners even, like it's really been pushing me to just compete against them, because even how you practice at practice is how you should be running at the race. And so whenever you have more people around you, it makes that easier because you're able to compete already. I mean, there's times even during practice where I'm just thinking, man, this just feels like a race at this point, and that's good.
Okay. How did the team perform last year, and what are some goals you think the team can accomplish this year?
Good question. So some goals that we want to hit this year is have at least 4 to 5 or as much for the boys team, have as much male runners to hit under 20, so that way we can all go to Chili Pepper together, the Chili Pepper Festival in Arkansas. That's a huge goal. And then also just trying to get runners to state this year. Like it's a hard thing. And
now you kind of threw it out there, but I want the folks who are watching at home to get a good glimpse. What is so special about the Chili Pepper Festival? What is that?
So that is a race that takes place in Arkansas. It's a national race, and it's a lot of fun, and it's a great course, just a great time in general. And I mean, I just want our runners to be able to go, because it's just such a great time to bond with each other, and it's a great time.
We're going to come back to Elena. Elena, what did the girls' team accomplish, or what can the girls' team accomplish this year?
I think, like, pushing through in general. Like, a lot of us have, like, not a bad mindset, but we can get pretty negative on the girls' side. As Coach Issa knows, we can be pretty negative, but I think this year we've been pretty positive. Like, we're trying to break our times from last year. Like, the freshmen coming in this year, they're competing with us very good, so that's...
Okay. Coach, coming back to you, do you want to see more individual success or more team success in terms of that? And the only reason why I ask is because if you have the correct, you can get into state. Team success means the team and the core is building. So what kind of, it's not really a fair question, but which would you prefer?
Well, in the end of the day, you want to, be in the top 6 at regionals, and then your whole team gets to go to state. I mean, that would be the ultimate goal. That for me as a coach, because then you get to take everybody. You get to take your whole 7-member team. So that would be ultimately what I'd want. But the funny thing about this sport, or I guess not funny, but unique thing about this sport, it's an individual sport, but it's scored as a team as well. So if they run better as an individual, what's the saying? A rising tide, lifts all boats. So if they all do better as an individual, the team succeeds. So.
Are there any unique traditions that cross country has established over at Northwest Classen? Any events or any unique traditions that you guys have created?
I mean, there's our annual trip to Mount Scott before the season starts in July.
That seems pretty nice. Describe that for me.
So we pretty much just go on over to Mount Scott, and we just run all the way up the mountain, and after that we just go swimming as a team. It's a lot of fun.
And I will tell you, last year they didn't think they could run it, and we stopped real quick. This year I said, well, we'll see. You can run up the top. And I'll tell you, all the boys ran it. They ran all the way to the top, and pretty good proportion of the girls too. I was stopped about a mile from the top, and I drove the bus, and I was there and said, the top's just right up there. You can stop, get on the bus, and let you go, or you can run the rest of the way if you want. And probably half the girls just said, no, I'm this close, I'll just run onto the top. I was really proud of them. So,
well, that unique traditions, and I'm finding the deeper that you dive into cross country, each school kind of has its own culture, its own running community, its own creative and festive events that they participate in, and it's really exciting. Finally, as I get ready to wrap things up this afternoon, Sammy, I want to come back to you. Do you like, what kind of surfaces do you prefer? Do you prefer the hilly? Do you prefer the tough terrain? Do you prefer adverse weather conditions? What do you like? Because to me, you strike me as, oh, this is what we're running in? Cool. That's what you strike me as. But what is your thoughts?
Yeah, so, I mean, honestly, you got it right. I mean, obviously, certain conditions do have an impact on how your performance will be. Like, it is a better thing to run in 60 to 50 degree weather than 90 to 100. But I just find a joy in just running. And I mean, for me, my favorite running conditions was honestly today. I mean, it was raining, it was cloudy. We're getting all cooled down with the rain and just running, and no sun.
Those watching at home, yes, he's parents out there who are watching. He's the one who brings home. What did you run through today? Don't worry about it. Just watch it. Just watch it. What about you, Elena?
I honestly, I know what I hate. I hate it today. I couldn't see nothing. My glasses, I had to take them off. I had to take them off during the run, and as soon as I took them off, I slipped in mud. And oh my God, I wanted to quit. I wanted to walk off, but I didn't. I finished my run.
You pushed through.
Yes,
she is kind of known for her clumsiness, so we say. So we have to watch out for her.
Okay, dramatic. You're Elena. You're not dramatic. You're not a dramatic runner, are you?
No, I'm not. I'm not a dramatic runner.
No doubt about it.
That's what he thinks.
Coach, what excites you the most about these young men and women who are participating in this?
I just and you guys can't tell the team when we get back. Maybe they won't watch it. I'm always amazed at their dedication, because let's be honest, running cross country takes a special kind of crazy to get out there and train and have the bald head coach yelling at you, and you're doing 6 miles and it's 95 degrees, and he's yelling at you, go faster, 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 and they just get out there and do it. And sometimes I just practice is over and I just go, man, it's just unreal the kind of dedication they have for their sport.
Sammy, Elena, he's not yelling out there, is he?
He tells us to run
hey,
faster.
A good coach yells. do not get that confused. A good coach will yell.
A good coach
Absolutely,
yells.
I think that.
Hey, this is the joy and excitement. So if you're a runner and want to follow a good running culture, look no further than Northwest Classen. The Knights have it. And they have their own community, and they have their own special events, again, to participate in. OKC's Fall Sports Media Day continues to roll on, cross-country edition. I'm Maurice Prince. Today's event is sponsored by Super Prep, OCCC, Just Burgers, and, of course, PPBC TV. We'll be back on the other side. The Spartans from Southeast are coming up next. Fall Sports Media Day. Maurice Prince here. This event, of course, is sponsored today by Super Prep, SSM Health, OKCPS, and Just Burgers on PPBC TV. We're about to go south side and go to Southeast High School now and talk cross country with the boys and girls and coaches, of course, from the Spartans. So I'm joined by student athletes. I have Monica Perez Gonzalez, and of course I have Sebastian Canero Franco with me here, and of course John Zier. Is that correct?
Zier, but
Zier.
yeah.
All right, Zier.
Zier, yeah.
I just had to mess one up. I knew I was like, it's going too easy, and I was messing that up. All right, guys. So cross country is obviously in your blood. You guys are both juniors. How many years have both of you been running? And take your time.
Do you want to go first, or I go first?
5 years. Really.
5 years for you. What about you, Monica?
I've been running since 7th grade, so
it's 5 years.
Yeah, 5 years.
So 5 years on that. Was it an instant love when you started participating in the sport, or did it come?
It just came naturally to me. Like, at first, I did not like running at all. I was just like, what is the point of running? But like, just being consistent throughout middle school and especially throughout high school, because obviously middle school and high school courses are different and very much different distances, and heat is probably one of the worst things to come. But and I just grew the love for running over time.
Okay, you got to follow that up. I mean, I don't know how you do it, Sebastian, but you got to find some words here.
Well, like, it was like an instant love, really. Like, I started running, like, even, like, I had to stop and start walking for running 2 miles. But like, I love the sport. I still continued through it, and now that I'm here, I'm falling in love with the progress.
Was there one particular thing about it that did it for you?
It was just like continuing it, really, like consistency day after day. That's what made me go through it.
This is a Southeast Spartan cross-country media day, so let's talk about last season. You both are juniors, been running for 5 years. What's some things for both of you, boys team and girls team, that you need to improve on this season?
I would say definitely teamwork.
Teamwork, really? Okay.
Yeah.
Very much. But also, I want to change everyone's mentality, because everyone has that quitter's mentality. But if you change that mentality, everyone will be positive in a way. So that's what I'm working on my freshmen. Shout out to Sam. She, like, for example, all my freshmen, they're like, oh my gosh, I can't do it. But if you just show that support, because everyone needs that support at one point in order to keep going and grow as a team.
Coach, talking to Coach John Zier now. Coach, I'm loving the energy that these athletes are talking about the sport, the love, the passion, the growth, the consistency, but the mental toughness in growing, and changing that. How is that being accomplished so well at Southeast right now?
Yeah, so running is one of those sports that is really hard because you get fatigued. You have to do it every day at a high level. And and many people don't understand it's more of a mental sport than it is like a physical sport. You can be in really good shape and not be able to execute on race day because nerves get in the way, because you hit a wall and you have to learn how to overcome that. So all the training that I give them is all over the place. I try and put them through situations that test their mental limits, and then go even further beyond for that, making them understand that like they can do tough things, and overcoming those things can teach you more than just running a race. It can teach you about life, that you can overcome things that come hard to you, right? And that's life. Life is really hard, and you got to learn how to overcome it. And hopefully I'm teaching them that they can overcome hard things. And yeah, a lot of it is just your mental focus, and also being your own fan, telling yourself that you can overcome it. Even when they see they've hit walls, they keep knocking. And I always talk to them about consistency. Keep going back to it. Even when you don't feel it, feelings are going to come and go. Motivation comes and goes. It's the discipline to keep chipping away at the mountain, eventually knowing that, you'll get to your goal.
Sebastian, when did you have your mental wall in this sport? And now that you've broken through, what has it done for you?
It really taught me about like how progress works through life. Like some days it's gonna feel good. You feel like, oh, I could do better. I could do more. I want to do more. And some days it's like you're just gonna hit a wall. You're gonna plateau.
You can talk about your races last season. You had like a mental wall.
Yeah, I did. Like my first race last season, it was great. I feel like I could like PR every meet, But after 3 races in a row after that, I was just like hitting a wall. I ran slower. But on that third race, I finally learned on what I needed to work on, and finally being able to execute it on the next race after at Chili Pepper.
Very powerful. What about you, Monica?
Oh, I just wanted to say that my sophomore year, like what Sebas said, I also hit a wall. It was really hard to like overcome things and stuff like that, but I just had to keep showing up. And until like my last race, I hit a huge PR. I hit, I think, a minute PR in the 2 mile, and I felt really proud of myself. And now I just got to show this season that I've progressed throughout the summer and throughout the fall.
Deep question here. Mm-hmm. You broke through, both of you said you had your breakthrough last year. Mm-hmm. How has that changed the team and the culture at Southeast? Because if you are learning something that actually helped you become better overall, not just in competing, but in just a better student or a better, how did that affect the rest of the kids or the rest of the potential teammates that you guys have now?
I would say like they could like definitely look towards us now, like as kind of like as a mentor, sort of like, and be able to inspire them to push forward, keep being consistent, and so on. So,
all right.
Like what Sebastian said, I feel like they should look up to us the most because we have the most experience, and they're just probably going to be like, oh my gosh, like they know what they're talking about, and they should just look up to us.
Coach, when you see this explosion in the sport, because a lot of the other athletes are using cross country now to get mentally stronger, what's that like at Southeast right now?
So I'll do some of like the backstory. When I first started, we didn't really have anyone on the team. This was like 4 years ago, and really I just wanted to first make a place where they could feel like they belonged, and then after that I was trying to teach them the basic skills of like growth, right? You're gonna start somewhere, and we're gonna try and end somewhere else. But the whole middle part, that's the story. That's where you guys are going to try. That's where life happens between the beginning and the end. And so take each day and try and grow. And I use that philosophy with coaching year after year. We've just gotten a little bit better every year. And, last year we got both teams to make state. They competed at a high level. The girls finished 4th. The boys finished 9th. And that's at state. And this year we look like we're both primed to make a play at like winning state. And so it's like a culture that wasn't formed overnight. We had to start from when we sucked, but they learned how to do it the right way, and over time they all just bought into those cornerstones that I teach. And like we're growing bigger and bigger. And then the thing that I want them to know is that they have to leave a legacy at where they are right now. And so that comes in different forms, competing, but also in like what you pass down from person to person.
Okay. Now, when we start looking at the overall culture and the impact, and seeing you guys competing at a high level has to be exciting. Because whenever you said life happens in the middle, well, we talked about where a journey is and where it can finish. So I have to ask some general questions just for fun. Sebastian, what kind of environment do you like to compete in? Do you like the mud? Do you like the wind, rainy? What kind of conditions do you like to compete in?
Really, I like a lot of grit. So maybe like
a tough terrain,
like hills, mud. And rain.
So the mud.
Yeah.
You know, the mud seems to be a popular thing. Why the mud?
I mean, it's not that it has to do with like how it affects if you're running, but the way you have to like push through it.
It's the grit of the sport.
Yeah.
Like, it's a hard sport not everyone loves, and it's just like the mud just exemplifies like we go through some dirty, tough things that no one else does.
Yeah.
And we like overcoming, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So he likes that. Monica, what about you?
Like he said, probably the rain, but I also like sunny days. Probably a hilly course, because I don't know. I just really like hills, because I feel like that's where you can take a lot of people in, because not that many people train hills that often, so you should take that as an advantage.
So in other words, for you, the tougher the terrain, or the tougher the layout of the course, you're saying bring it on.
Yes.
Okay.
Of course.
So let me ask you, why is Southeast so successful, guys?
Hard work. That's all I gotta say. You just
that was
gotta put in
nice.
the work.
That was nice. That was nice. Coach, the athletes that you're coaching has to excite you from the standpoint of they're not ones that are just learning, but they're now, they're investors, and now it's helping you recruit others into the sport. How do you feel about what that's creating over at Southeast?
Yeah, so they kind of we've established the culture together, and so when new kids come in, they're constantly trying to figure out, okay, how do we act? Because that's how kids, they operate. They go into an environment and they say, how do I act so that I don't feel awkward and different? And so they're actually going to be adapting to our mindset of growth, competing, being as a team. We cheer on each other, we encourage, and then we also will all hit walls, and so each of them knows that, and so each of them will encourage each other through those moments, because they've all felt the same thing. So it's really cool, because it kind of grows itself after you've established something. So the coaching changes a little bit from trying to just introduce the culture stuff. It's already there, so now it's just about kind of being a mentor, role model, but also maintaining what we have.
Yeah. Well, when you have established the bar, then it's easier. How are practices? What are they like? I mean, what was practice like even today in these adverse conditions, Monica?
Oh my goodness, I don't know how I could explain it. It just, it's all over the place. It's really much a roller coaster, because I think you said that you're gonna have bad races, you're gonna have bad days, but at the end of the day, you're still putting in the work, and you're gonna see that progress any day.
Okay.
Yeah, what's your workout?
Yeah, I didn't think about this.
Why you're thinking about that?
Well, I mean, it's just something that I do every day. I don't really think too hard about it, but now that you mention it, I'm now I have to
think about it.
Yeah.
Think through it. Yeah.
Think through it, think about what's actually happening. But
Sure. Now, I'm not going to ask Southeast to do any trash talking. However, when it comes to grit and it comes to toughness, what is something that the other teams that you guys are going to be competing against, because this is Southeast Cross Country Fall Sport Media Days, what can they look forward to seeing? What is something that the other teams that when they line up and want to do all the talking and all the other things, what can they expect when you guys step on the course?
I don't know how to answer that one. It's really hard.
Well, I will say this. Based upon that, you guys are overcomers, you are conquerors, and you excel at facing challenges. Would that be fair enough to say? So in other words, don't overlook Southeast.
Very much.
Knowing that you guys are going to give your best at all times. That's just for me, just talking to you now. And that probably does not sum what you probably would say if you're not on mic. Anyway. Coach, final thoughts. The community at Southeast is continuing to grow. It's continuing to flourish at a high level.
Yeah.
The culture that is established by cross country is not just in this sport, but it's in all the other ones. Why is the family at Southeast so strong?
Yeah. Well, I think we just come from the South Side. We come from a community that does value togetherness and family and being there for one another. And so I do think that with that in mind, they come equipped with those values already just so highly regarded. And so it is easy to build a team that feels like a family because they already have those values that they, highly regard. And so, I think our team does a really good job of that. And I think that, that's why I'm here, why I'm at where I'm at.
The Southeast Spartans are not only marching, they can run too and might just run past you. I'm Maurice Prince. I want to make sure we thank all our sponsors for tonight's festivities: Super Prep, SSM Health, OKCPS, Just Burgers, and PPBC TV. We're going to take a break and come back. More cross country right around the other side of this course. back to Fall Sports Media Days for Oklahoma City Public Schools. I am Maurice Prince, and tonight's event is being sponsored by Super Prep, SSM Health, OKCPS, Just Burgers, and PPBC TV. The sport about endurance continues, and we're going to continue to spotlight mental toughness with this team that really doesn't have any problem with mental toughness. We're talking with the boys and girls coaches and players of Classen SAS. I have head coach for the boys team, Braden Smith, with senior Elijah Majoris. Is that it? I got it right. Hey, all right. Then I have student athlete junior Avery Fisher and her head coach, Harley Leap. Good evening to everybody. How is everybody feeling today?
Amazing.
Amazing. That's what I'm talking about. So good. I get to park the car right in Elijah's driveway first. What was the practice like today, Elijah? What was practice like today?
Well,
lean into that mic there.
Actually, I'm injured right now. Suffered basketball sprained ankle. So I went and rode at River Sport.
Okay, so you rode at River Sport.
Yeah.
Needless to say, that's why you have the perfect hair. Anyway, we're going to go ahead and roll with that. Okay, so Avery, how was practice today? I need someone to tell me what practice was like today.
So today we had a morning practice and an afternoon practice. Since it was raining in the morning, we had to be inside, so we did our strength this morning and our running this afternoon. But this afternoon we did like 1K repeats. And it was like a little slower pace than race pace since we're prepping for our race this Saturday. But since the weather's so nice, they felt really good.
All right. Why, Elijah, why is Classen SAS so successful in cross country?
I think our program has been so successful for the past 3 going on 4 years because our student body, our top guys have embodied kind of a spirit to motivate each other and run with each other and explore the city and just like build each other up to be the best we can, and that's what got us to state last year.
Avery, how is the camaraderie amongst the players with this new group of freshmen that have come in? How is that working? How's that coming together?
Yeah, the team is really young, but it's really cool to see like all the potential. Everyone is just so encouraging of each other, and it's really special, the thing we have going on the team.
Coach Braden, in terms of philosophy, what are some things that you like to see from or establish within the culture of your program?
Yeah, we have this thing called Team DNA, and the idea behind it is just the things that we want to kind of make the core of who we are and embody as a program. For me personally, consistency and discipline, that was something I had when I was in high school and college running, and what I felt got me to where I was, and something I want to continue to instill in these guys that they already have, and for these younger group, just kind of mold them into disciplined group of individuals.
Student athletes, amazing. Coach Harley, obviously there's always excitement. You don't have to try to muster that up. So with the girls team this year in particular, what has it been like when you stepped into the room and looked at the team and the amount of athletes that want to participate now? That's something that, first of all, Classen SAS has never been in search that has been expected at in the land of the Comets.
Yeah, Avery has done an amazing job with helping with those freshmen and those sophomores, those younger girls, especially when they're running. And if she's done with her reps, she goes and helps them get through their reps. And at the end, when they're doing their cool-down laps, Avery will go, and some of our more upperclassmen will go to help talk to those younger ones, run with them, and just make sure they get through it to get that mental toughness through.
Okay, Avery, before this interview is over, you got to say something nice about the coach. She said something very nice about you. You'll have to do that in a minute. Coach Braden, when we start talking about, I just asked her about the culture, the fantastic freshmen, and the level of expectation. When you have athletes like Elijah who've come in, set the bar high for that, when you step and look in the room and start talking over strategies to make the team successful, how do you break down the needs in assessing what the team needs to do to grow?
It's a complicated question. There's a lot that goes into it. Starts in our coaches talking, getting the feedback from the athletes of what works for them and what taking that feedback and adjusting. Coaches always have a plan. A lot of things don't, just like life, go according to plan. So you got to make those adjustments on the fly and ultimately meet the kids at where they're at in order for them to be successful. So a lot of that decision-making process is one, experience and knowledge, but two, if at the end of the day you're not relating to the kids, then it's not, all the knowledge in the world is not going to do anything. So it's kind of just meeting everybody meeting halfway and then kind of running the course from there together.
I knew I could ask a complex question and I would get that right answer from you. Oh, yeah, you did great. Elijah, when it comes to the freshman class that's coming in, the energy that they bring in, what is going to be the toughest challenge for them learning to run from middle school? Because a lot of them coming in with experience now. What is going to be the toughest challenge for them, learning to compete at the level that you have been a part of establishing?
I think there's obviously a drastic difference with any sport from the middle school to high school level. But one thing I think in particular that comes with taking on endurance sports like cross country is mind over matter. You can push your body so much farther than you think you can. And a lot of these kids haven't got out there, haven't raced yet, so they don't really know their limits until they do that. And it shows kind of in workouts, I think, not that they're doing bad by any means.
Sure, no.
Only that, they can truly push themselves so much more, and they will learn that in the coming weeks, and our team will grow as a result.
Avery, do you have anything that you need to rebuttal? I mean, Elijah gave almost a perfect answer. Is there anything he missed?
I don't think so. That was pretty good.
Okay. All right. So, Avery, let's go back in your early stages of running, when your passion for this sport really began. What was that mental block that you had to get through, and how did you overcome it?
I would say probably the step from middle school to high school was probably the big hurdle that I had to get over, because in middle school you only run 1.5 miles, and so in high school you're literally doubling the distance you have to run. So I would say just through training the summer before, freshman year, it was just kind of telling myself, okay, it's much farther, but you got this, you got this, you got this. And then it comes to race day sooner than you know, and you just get out there and go for it. And then, after your first race, then after that, you just can only go up and see how much farther you can push.
Do you have a routine that you put yourself through to get yourself ready for a race?
To get ready for a race, specifically, on the morning of a race, when we're on the bus there, I usually listen to music that will set the mood, and then just getting a really good pre-race warm-up and dynamic stretches in is also very beneficial. So.
Elijah, what about you? When you're getting ready for the race, I realize that you said you're still coming off an injury right now, but what is that process and what does that look like?
Well, mentally, I would tell you that my freshman and sophomore year, going into every race was the worst thing ever. My nerves, I wanted to throw up 7 days before my race, just anticipating all the pain I would feel. But recently I've gone into races thinking I am privileged and I have an opportunity to go out there and give it my all and put my body to the test, and a lot of people don't get that opportunity. So I will treat it that way, and I will give all my effort to it, and if I win or lose, at least I try my hardest.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. Coach Harley, you made a statement earlier that I want to go back to. You talked about the way the bonding of the team has come together. Talk to me about the sportsmanship, the community that cross country has really gone. It started probably in cross country, spread to other sports, but talk to me about the root of how that bond, that runners community that you've established over there.
I think everyone's going through the same pain. Everyone's doing the same exercise. So really just realizing that, we're all in this together, and that's a big thing that I also really preach to my kids, that like we're all doing this together. Everyone's going through the same thing. Everyone feels the same pain. We just have to all push through it and feel for each other and help each other through these races and practices, because sometimes they're hard and they will be hard, but really realizing that we're in this together is the deep root for me.
Coach Braden, what excites you the most about the potential of this year's team?
Well, last year we were runner-up at state. That was a first in school history, and something, just watching these guys celebrate, something we want to get back to. With some of our injuries right now, Elijah's not the only one. Not the start we anticipated, but I told a couple of the guys, like, hey, we're in a situation right now where we didn't plan to be here, so it will be much sweeter when we get back to that place and realize, hey, we had to go through all this to get here. So for me, the excitement, hopefully in 3 months from now, we did everything that we could and are proud of that, no matter the result. But ultimately just knowing we were able to get through that adversity together.
I'm going to make a statement, and Elijah and Avery, try your best not to smile when I make it. For other programs, they are chasing the bar, but at Classen SAS, that is the bar. Is that a fair statement? And if I needed to change it, what do I need to change it to? Got him.
I don't think we're the best team out there. I think that would be ludicrous to say, but I think in terms of putting effort in, we set a pretty good standard for how it should be done.
Anything omitted or omissions or need to be added to that?
I think for cross country, definitely the bar can always be raised. So there's not really any limit to where the bar is. We can always set it higher.
They just had to outdo me there, folks, as you saw that. But the reason why it has to be stated is because in so many levels, and again, it's my job to, as they say, blow your horn, not necessarily for you guys to do it, but the establishment of what Classen SAS has done over, especially in sports that are individual to team, needs to be recognized because it's a part of the culture and it's a part of the success, which makes them such great comments. In closing, Elijah, is there any goals that you, obviously winning a state championship, obviously that, are there any other events that you're looking forward to participating in this season, in this particular year?
I'm looking forward to our race after state down in Texas, Nike Cross Regionals. I've never raced it. I'm excited to end my cross country career off on that. And my other goal is just to have fun with my last year of cross country and put my all into every race.
Avery, you.
For me, I'm really excited for this race we go to in Arkansas called Chili Pepper. It's just a really fun experience to be able to go on that car drive together. You get to have a lot of cool conversations and get to know your teammates. And then the race atmosphere at the University of Arkansas course is pretty hype. So you get that good adrenaline rush, and usually the race is pretty fast. So.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's been an absolute honor to talk to Classen SAS. The comments are here at this table. Look for them to continue their continued established legacy of participating in sports at a high level with a great community support behind them and a great culture at their facility and in their building. I want to thank Elijah, Avery, Coach Braden, and Coach Harley for being a part of this today. Cross country, folks, right here on Fall Sports Media Day for Oklahoma City Public Schools. It's been an honor bringing it to you, and we look to catch you on the course real soon. Everyone have a great night, and thank you for tuning in to OKC Sports Radio 105.3 and also streaming live on PPBC TV. Remember, tomorrow night will be softball and volleyball. Same bat time, same bat channel, and I know I'm telling my age when I say that, but you'll get it. Have a great sports night, everyone. Thank you for tuning in.